the first email was not confidential, and it wasn't marked as confidential. So I guess the person who shared it felt that they had leeway to share an email from the city manager to members of council and senior management team with anyone they wish to. However, the second email that Janice sent, and I had talked to Janice on Monday and suggested that she should have that clause at the bottom of her emails, which I double-checked and didn't, stating that it could not be shared. And I've had that on all my emails for many, many years now. It doesn't prevent people from posting, sharing them, but it is a bit of a deterrent, and it does say that the person is asking that you respect that they've sent it to you and not to the world at large. So the second email that Janice sent did have that in place and was marked confidential. And she expressed in that email her concern for what had happened. And for that email to be shared immediately, I think it was almost, it was almost an automatic forward to the National Post.
Page 14, question 6. I need to send an email with confidential information. What can I do to protect it? What are my alternatives? And the answer includes print the information and hand deliver it, or send the information in an inter-office envelope marked confidential. I would suggest to you that if you're trying to avoid an FOI, which I don't know if that's sort of a template for how to avoid an FOI, that's absolutely incorrect. As soon as you've printed the document or sent it in our office, that is FOIable. So I'm not too sure what it is that we're getting at there. This goes actually completely against our policy.
I guess one of the issues is the ability to forward mail. And any email, no matter what is marked, can be forwarded to anyone. And I think that's the concern.
Well, and I think just to add to that, Mr. Chairman, the intent of that question is not, there's nothing in that question that says doing this avoids FOI. I think this is really just intended to be a guideline to staff to manage, the type of information that they're sending. So there's nothing in here that says protecting it means you're protecting it from FOI. We would know immediately something that's printed and forwarded in the organization is FOI.
Of course it would be, as it should be. All of it just sort of smacks of, it's beneath us. I want to ensure the dignity of all of our employees and all of the council members, and I keep reading this page after page, and it's just so beneath us. This isn't what I was elected to do. It's certainly not what I aspired to do. I didn't sit there thinking, gee, I hope one day I get to go represent the great people of Ward 5 just so I can come in and clamp down and monitor and snoop, and it's just so belittling. And I know that we're not supposed to be speaking about some of the other items, but I'm alarmed when I see the notes of the mayor up on that screen as Ms. Cooper-Bennett provided. That's just alarming that our cameras go in and read the personal notes, the personal thoughts of our mayor as she's preparing for debate. You can't possibly make an argument for international safety or terrorism, and that's why that camera's able to do that. You can't make an argument that we need to be able to FOI that communication because it's her personal thought. It's not going anywhere. It's pretty out there, and I think we really have we've got to look at this and take it very seriously. I think it's very easy to start arguing extremes, and I think we need to look at sort of the day-to-day implications of what it is that we're doing here, and really what our core mandate is. And I thought it was to provide wonderful services to our residents, to bring together and provide infrastructure that residents can't go out and do on their own. I didn't realize that we're supposed to be snooping on each other and making everyone hesitate, and they're concerned about whether or not they can pick up their phone to their councillor, or this is just getting extreme. And I don't think the general public would support something like this.
I'm absolutely disgusted. I said in my email that this is, in my opinion, it's a cowardly act of someone afraid to make their opinion heard and prefers to hide behind the media. I suggest this person needs to have the decency and moral standards to say what they wish to say to those who was involved directly. And with that, I would ask if anyone wants to own up right now, publicly.
City security hides behind
So
emails
I'll
too,
make that request perhaps.
and hides behind freedom of information.
IT contact my office, and I'm talking about the search of my staff equipment as well as my own, and the equipment that is city-owned that I have at home.
I think this is just so undignified. And maybe it's just my personal bias. My parents left Eastern Europe and communist countries with secret police where sisters-in-law would inform upon you to the secret police. And it does seem kind of extreme here. And it's not about terrorist activity that we're monitoring. Nobody's ever suggested that. And Jack, I'd just like you to go on the record. Are you saying that you have somehow caught terrorist activity with this type of IT?
With the RCMP, our health, we've been able to produce things for them.
Yes.
And actually they've removed the PCs right out of the libraries.
Yes. So the RCMP
We're going to file freedom of information on that.
investigated, and then the RCMP went in and took the computers, because that's the RCMP's duty, right? It wasn't our technology actively snooping on people, and then you reported it to the RCMP? Is that what you're suggesting?
No, I didn't say that. I said the RCMP is
That's
the
right.
one that approached us.
That's right. Because it's the RCMP who does this. And if, any day of the week, I would much prefer the RCMP or the police come in or there's a court order. I would certainly respect that, as opposed to nameless, faceless people doing that upon one another. That there's a legitimate function for that. There's a complete system set up for that, and that's the way it's supposed to be.